Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a day in the market, man. There was some stocks just rocking today. I mean, it's unbelievable. Partying like it's 1999. Everything is good. And we're going to get into the charts for sure. We're going to get into one. If the market wants to go higher, there's a reason why it actually can go higher if they let it. Okay. And I'm going to show you why. Also, I promised I would show you a video on what happens when the Fed actually pauses. And so I will show you a members video I put out back in December. It could be 7 weeks ago, I guess, because I already did the research. And so I'm going to let you listen to that. And then earnings. I'm going to go into earnings. Got one really big one coming up tomorrow. And I'll show you why it could absolutely go higher again because the bar set so low. And then some economic data as well. But I did want to start off, and I did so much research today. I have so much data that I'm going to put a lot of it into tomorrow's video because, as you know, I don't do 20 to 30 minute videos because I don't watch 20 to 30 minute YouTube videos, so I'm not going to put you through it. But I did want to start right here, so I'll go over a lot of the Fed stuff tomorrow, everything, and tomorrow so it makes sense, okay? Because I understand right now we are in the blackout window for the Fed. You will not see Fed president speaking, or you should not, until, what is it, February 2nd. So we got to wait. So there's nobody out there to beat down the market. But understand there will be leaks to the press. I will go over that tomorrow on a person you should follow on Twitter so you get the same updates I do. I did want to ask, though, real quick before I get into the charts, how in the world, if you know anything about Venezuela, can you actually live in a country with 234% inflation? Again, never been there. I think it's a big oil country maybe. But, I mean, do they not have regular people there? 234% inflation. How much does a loaf of bread cost there? Has anybody been there? Put down in the comments if you have or if you're from there. Like, what eggs? Somebody joking around and said, what eggs cost there? Because they're really expensive in America. I can only imagine what they cost there. So I'm just kind of curious. Think 234%. That is stunning. So I guess we do kind of got it good here, right? And so getting into the charts, and you can see what I tell you yesterday to watch out for that support resistance flip, right? When it actually came above it, tested it, boom, it takes off. And if you see, remember this line right here, this level right there, what happens when it gets rejected? Big sell-off. What happens when it actually comes down, tests it, and flips it into support? You get big moves both ways, okay? So that is a bullish thing we talked about yesterday. Then here it is, the double top level I tell you to watch out for. We are only, I think, 2% away from this level. It's 4,100. And if it breaks 4,100, that means you're getting new highs. That is another bullish thing, okay? So make sure you pay attention to that because also that brings us outside of the channel as well. And so a lot of people are going to start rushing in and say, oh my God, we've done it. The bear market's over. Here we go, right? And so make sure you watch out for that. But then again, what I tell you yesterday, just watch Apple. If you're busy at work, on your phone, just watch the Apple chart. Because when Apple has a day like it did today, guess where the markets are going? It's a $2 trillion company, right? Makes up 7% of the SPY, makes up 12% of the NASDAQ. Look at that. That's something you rarely see. I mean, look at that crazy mess. That's just flying up. And you see that right there, that trend line right here I told you about, the ascending trend line. I said if it breaks back above it, which I expected to test it, it didn't. It blew right through it. Okay, and that goes back 3-4 years. It blew right through it, then blew right through 140, and then finally sold off from 1130 on, come back, retested, and then ends up bouncing. So that is another bullish thing to watch out for, okay? Now, why can the market go higher? And I put this in the Discord this morning. I said, look, if the market wants to go higher, it means the market makers want to allow it to go higher right now. When you look at the options, right? Remember, last week was monthly options expiration. The amount of options aren't even close, right? So there's not that many out there compared to the previous weeks. Also, look at the calls. That's be on the right-hand side, right? The green. You don't see any compared to the puts, right? Then you got this one little wall, which is 400. Well, guess what? We've already breached 400. After 400, you get nothing. I'm just going through the week here for you, okay? So this is Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Look at this right here. Again, there's the ones we've already breached. We're already past that, okay? No calls to speak of, right, from 402 on, right? And so, you know, that's something you got to take close attention to. And then, of course, here's the last one. I believe this is Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see we're already past 400. We closed above 400. Whether or not we stay, we don't know. But you really don't see anything. And even when you click on them, there's just not a lot there, right? And, of course, we touch on Tesla real quick. Obviously, an enormous day for Tesla. They got earnings coming up Wednesday, right? And if you look at their chart, they're nowhere near overbought. Remember how oversold they were? They're nowhere. They just crossed like the 50 line on the RSI. Was it Friday? So they're going to have to go up like 20% tomorrow to be overbought, right? Going in earnings, which is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. You go in overbought, kind of sucks, right? But again, look at this one. If you look right here, these are Friday's expirations, right? Closed at 142 today. Max payments will be 130, not even close. So max payment didn't even matter when it comes to this one. But you can see past the 140, there's a call, if you want to call it a call wall at 150. That's where you see the most. But again, it's not some boatload. Oh my God, look at these amount of options. But once you get past 150, I mean, I can't believe there's actually people buying stuff at a 200, 255 is going to expire. But 250, I mean, that I guess you could call the call wall. Maybe that's why we're not going to get there. We'll see. And of course, earnings should dictate it. But this is, I mean, a huge run up in earnings, right? And again, there's nothing fundamental about it. There's nothing that everything's just going to the moon. I don't care what it is. I mean, Bitcoin's still going. Everything's still going, right? And so none of that, I mean, semis are just on fire. And I can't wait to see what their earnings are. If they can dictate and actually sit there and say, no, yeah, this move's fine. Yeah, we can validate this move with some actual earnings. I can't wait for that myself. But again, everything is just going up. Commodities are going up. You know, it's just crazy. But that's, you know, that's where we're at, right? And so we'll have to see. Again, that's why I'm looking forward to these earnings here. But the big thing is, and we're going to get into earnings in just a minute, I wanted to, because I promised you I'd do this, go over the what happens when the Fed actually pauses, to show it to you so you can see it, right? And I go all the way back to the 70s here to show it to you, and it's literally going to take a minute and a half. And so, I mean, I'll show you that part. So here's the video I put out December 2nd for the members, and here you go. What's happening now? We're tightening rates into a falling market. What's happening here? We're tightening rates into a rising market. It's supposed to be a strong economy, right? Then they pause. Right here where this box is at, they pause. And look what happens to the S&P. Remember, the Qs go up more than this. The S&P jumps 16.18% right there. I'm sorry, 17% right there when they do it. So you can see it goes up, right? And so then they cut rates. The market goes a little more. And this kind of off because of what happened in 2020, right? And then we'll go to 07, 08. We know about this one. You can see right there, they end up cutting or pausing rates right there. Market goes up 20%. They cut, bang, market crashes and burns, right? Because we're in a major recession, financial meltdown right there. We end up going back to 01. You can see right here, this is between 2000 and 2001. You know, market's running up. They pause rates right there. Remember, things are getting bad as is. Market goes up around 5% right there. They end up, this one actually started crashing before they cut rates, but once they cut rates, bam, market tanked anyway. And so we most likely will see a run. Now, the funny thing is when you go back even further and go for other bear markets, because this is what I'm focused on, obviously, when they pause rates, and you can see it's a little different. Like there's really no real pause going on. I mean, it's all over the place. They're raising, they're dropping, they're raising, and the market's falling right along with it. You see that? How the market's just falling along? So there really is no rate pause. It looks like a roller coaster, doesn't it? I mean, I guess they just did things back in the 80s and 70s a lot different, I'm assuming, is what happened. And so, I don't know, you can see, but you can see when they cut rates what happened. The market crashed, right? Same thing between, what is this, 73 to 75 right here? No real pause. It's just a cut, and when they cut, market's already tanking as is. This is the Volcker, I think, maybe right here, where he spikes it all the way up, and the market really tanks in. They're trying to get inflation under control and stuff. And so, you know, takeaway, if there's a real pause, market goes up. And if they cut rate. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. And if you're getting anything out of this, please hit the like and think about sharing the video, guys. And of course, I always read the comments, and I appreciate all you guys in the comments yesterday saying, you know, come on, guys, like, share the video, and the support is greatly appreciated. You have no idea what it means to me, and it really does mean a lot. I know we have I'm lucky to have such great people out there that actually watch the videos and give me support and stuff, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Trust me, I know I don't say it enough, but it does not go unnoticed. And so, getting back on with the video, you see right there what happens when the Fed pauses. It's plain, you see that, right? The 70s were so different because they just didn't pause. But hopefully you get what I'm talking about. So you can see when they do cut, that means we're in trouble. Market goes tanks, right? And so just understand that. And so getting into earnings, you can see, I mean, tomorrow you got Verizon Wireless, Johnson & Johnson. I'm sure Halliburton is going to be on there bragging about how much money they're making and stuff. And, you know, D.R. Horton I want to listen to because obviously Home Builder has been on a tear, but the housing industry seems like a mess. Microsoft is really the only one people are going to be paying attention to, I really believe. And then Texas Instruments for semiconductors, Capital One, how much money we put on credit card and how much how many defaults they and what percentage of defaults are they expecting and how much money they putting back is what you really want to listen to on that. And of course, I know I sound like a broken record when I sit here and keep talking about, the bar is on the ground, right? But just so you see, it's not just me saying that, okay? Here's what to expect from Microsoft tomorrow.
We expect from Microsoft.
Yeah, again, I want to make it very clear. The consensus estimate is 2.29, and the Wall Street whisper number is 2.25. So expectations are not high. I think it's more about what they say. I think it's more about some of the metrics, as we've seen with Netflix. Netflix numbers were not great. I mean, I want to be very clear. They missed huge on EPS. Revenue was basically up 2%, but they had a 4% price increase. What they're doing is they're showing, hey, we're still adding subscribers. You thought we were going to be losing subscribers or really having slow subscriber growth. Business isn't all that bad. And what the stock is doing is it's showing you the reaction of people on the wrong side. So all of these businesses, sure, you might have some one-offs if all of a sudden Amazon comes out and says, hey, the cost pressures are still there. We're really struggling with the massive hiring that we did. That might be a one-off. But across the board, I think, again, as Doug mentioned, we're set up for some upside surprises here.
And so you see, it's not just me, right? I mean, you're seeing what they're expecting. It's low. The bar is down there. So unless they get on that call and say, oh, my Lord, it's just really terrible this year, we're going to have to downgrade the forecast, all this other stuff. They've already done what the market's asked. They're laying off people. They love that. Not good for the economy. Great for the business, though, because more to the bottom line. They're going to get to keep more coming from overseas, right? Because the dollar weakened, which is what hurt them in 2022. So that headwind is now a tailwind, okay? And so other things, even though they've said, hey, these two sectors when it comes to software and PCs are weak. Now, again, it's all about the forecast. So we'll see on that. Can it sell off? Yes. But again, the bar is low. Netflix's was horrible. Goldman Sachs was horrible. Look where they're at. Didn't matter, right? And so I'm just saying, especially when a big one like this, it's all about what the market wants to do and what they want to hear and how they want to hear it. Now, as far as economic data, nothing that should shake the market. Obviously, you're going to have flash services PMI, flash manufacturing. The big one is the Richmond Manufacturing Index. You see the forecast is like -5. The previous was 1. Again, all of this economic data has been absolutely horrific. But again, what are people looking for? The bottom of it, saying, well, it's bad, but who cares about manufacturing? We don't manufacture anything anyway, right? It's all about the services side of it. And so far, we're still spending. We're still going to restaurants and going on vacations and all this stuff. So we're still spending on the services side, which is why you see inflation increasing on the services side and decreasing on the manufacturing. We don't make anything in this country, okay? That's just the bottom line, right? We outsource almost everything. And so I'm just kidding. I know we make some stuff, but compared to what we used to make, not even close, all right? It's all about the services, and so that's what people care about. And, we're going to find out tomorrow, how this earnings season is really going to kick off because it is pretty loaded, right? I mean, I think this week, I just want to say on next 2 weeks, it's like 80% of the S&P is going to be reporting or something, some crazy metric I read. And so, this is it. This is what everybody's been waiting for. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. Do you think Microsoft's going down or up? And do you think Tesla is going down or up? Those are the really two I think that are going to matter. I don't think Texas Instruments is going to weigh on NVIDIA and AMD that much. AMD just got an upgrade today, which is why it bumped like 8 to 9% or something. NVIDIA has just been on an unbelievable tear. And you remember all their earnings calls. It wasn't good at all, but nobody cared, right? And so, again, this is where we're at. Tomorrow I'll have a loaded video and a lot of stuff to do with the Fed and things like that I discovered today and some other stuff. I just didn't want to put it in this one. So anyway, hope you guys have a good night. Hit the like and subscribe button, please. Share the video if you don't mind. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow.